Friday, January 3, 2020. My voice is rusty from bronchitis, which is passing, so our photographer here is not near death. But if I break up altogether, apologies. This is the time of year when we're supposed to predict what's going to happen next year. Yeah. First thing, 1 year ago today, we were in one of the few situations which really was predictable. At least we knew where the fork in the road was. 1 year ago right now, either the Fed was going to back off from its rate hiking during 2018 and before, or we were going to have a recession. I mean, one or the other. And so the whole picture before us in housing and interest rates was very clear. And as the year worked on, it was clear which path we were on. The Fed was going to retreat, and it did. The Fed retreated really all the way through the year. Rates 1 year ago had crested 5%, fell almost to 3.5% by early fall, which leads to the first prediction. I do not know of any sector in the U.S. economy or markets which is similar to a year ago. That is, there isn't any particular trend underway anywhere that we can isolate and say that's the thing to watch, let alone a fork in the road. So, as I wrote in the copy not far away from this video, this year, 2020, is the year of the accident. We don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be an accident, which begin at the end. This election is going to be an accident. Anybody who thinks they can handicap what happens in November, God bless you. Or even if you get it right, what the consequences will be. So park that one to one side. Start with housing. Housing, of all of the risks ahead next year, is the lowest. And we can say that with some confidence because housing gets into trouble with on any of three events: overbuilding, building too many houses in too many places, or with credit excess, credit too easy, expanding too rapidly. Neither of those things is happening. The third thing that can crater housing is a recession. And, shoot, we could have one, but there isn't anything in the data that suggests that there's one nearby. Of course, in the whole nation, the fate of any particular house depends on local factors. And those local factors are whether people are moving in or moving out of your area, the relative scarcity of supply, which is usually land. I mean, do we have land to build on or not? And for most of the country, we don't. And the third thing is the local economy. If you have all three of those things going for you, which most urban areas in America do, you have nothing to worry about. If you're missing one of the three, if you're missing two of the three, if you're missing all three, look at all the good things that have happened in your retirement account because of the stock market. There are all kinds of other things going on in the world. Overnight last night, we had an airstrike in Iraq, and we took out a top-level Iranian. And
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Remember, as you watch news all through 2020, that the media is now engaged in a form of news porn. That no matter what happens, the media is going to exaggerate it, and in ways that really I've never seen before. I mean, the media is in the business of exaggeration, but the constant state of howling to get your attention, to try to frighten you to death, or to try to get you to do something that you shouldn't necessarily do, it's in the nature of the internet, and all of our news consumption has moved to the internet, that there's no cost to publishing anything. And so that's what we do. We publish anything. Looking ahead into the next year, geopolitics is not likely to be a big deal. It can be, but the last time that the Middle East, in which a conflict actually had an effect on oil prices and the global economy, was 1973. There's been plenty of conflict since, but no particular effect on anything. The Fed, always the Fed in our world of interest rates, the Fed released the minutes of its December meeting. today. And the Fed has been forthright in the last 90 days that it's happy with its current policy and it doesn't see any need for change open-ended. Bless their hearts. In the year of the accident, if there is maybe the biggest question for housing and the economy is going to be when and what will cause the Fed to change its mind, and in which direction. And nobody has any idea about that either. So do have a nice accident ahead. Happy New Year.